All right, thank you for coming. I hope that you guys can hear me. Looks like everything's working fairly well. You can go to the social stream to chat and to ask questions if you have any, and I'll be more than willing to answer those. So put that where. Feel free to ask a question at any time, and it'll pop up, and I'll be willing to answer that. All right, going to the questions that I have gotten from the Facebook page. Again, I hope everyone can hear me all right. The volume is... There we are. Okay. The first question I got was from somebody regarding Verizon wireless tower. Getting conflicting reports. Getting a report that if you talk to people at Verizon, they say that the Shelby City Council has not approved the measure to put a Verizon tower downtown, even though they've proposed and have a good site for it. I talked to one member of City Council, says they have in fact voted on that, and it's a Verizon issue. So I'm trying to clear that up with the mayor, and trying to get down to the bottom of that. And so I'll hopefully have an answer, and I'll be able to put that on Facebook. Realize that a lot of people out there probably don't know, may not know who I am, so I'll talk a little bit about that, and we'll get into some more questions that you guys may have as well. I'm Nathan, and I just want to say this is the first UStream that I've done, so it's going to take a little while for me to get used to it. So if I start speaking like a rambling idiot, that's because, well, I'm basically a rambling idiot today, trying to get through this. So anyways, my name is Nathan. I live here in Shelby on the Grand Boulevard, and have a wife, Mandy, and 5 kids. And really excited to step out here and run for City Council here in Shelby, Ohio. A couple things that I'm wanting to accomplish with my campaign. I really want to bring different dynamic communication to the City Council race and local governance. Too often our elected leaders, they seem isolated from us. And it seems that they make decisions in a vacuum. Now, this may or may not necessarily be true, but the bottom line is that most of the time they don't communicate effectively with us, and they don't tell us what's coming down the pike. And a lot of times, we don't even know issues are going before the council before they're passed or after they're passed, which shouldn't be the case. I mean, right now, legislation and ordinances have to go through 3 different readings before they can be voted on. That's 3 different council meetings, unless it's emergency legislation. And so we should have some kind of communication with us. And sometimes that's on us as citizens, not going out there and getting the information. But sometimes it's lazy leadership. And so that's something that I want to try to solve and bring more communication to the office of City Council. Another thing I want to accomplish on the City Council is really a sense of community. I love Shelby. I think Shelby is a great place to live. Before moving to Shelby, my wife and I lived in downtown Mansfield over by the hospital. And it just wasn't a good experience. It wasn't pleasant. It wasn't the best place to raise children. It was... the police response times were slow, and it just It just didn't feel like a good community experience. Shelby's completely different. It's a great place to raise a family. It's a great place to work. It's a great place to live. And I just want to add to that and make it better. And so, excuse me. And so I want to bring that dynamic of community. I want to hold more community events as well and get us as a community to come together on more than just, bicycle days once a year. I want it to be a community experience because we do have sort of that small town atmosphere that I love. And I think that there's a lot more that we can do as a community to really bring that out and bring that together. So adding to the sense of community. As a part of adding to the sense of community is being self-reliant as a community. And I know that a lot of people here in Shelby are concerned that we used to be very self-reliant in a lot of issues, and what we've done is we're consistently outsourcing some things that we should be taking care of ourselves. Like, for example, our power plant. I'll be talking about that a little bit later because I got some questions. I get questions all the time about the light plant. What's going on with the light plant? Well, why was the light plant shut down? And what can we do to provide for ourselves for power for the future? There's a lot of issues on that I've been uncovering that, frankly, I'm unsatisfied with. And I think that we all should be unsatisfied with. But there's a lot of things as a community we should be self-reliant in. For example, another thing I've been talking about when I talk to the chief of police is our 911 services. Our 911 services go to a centralized county dispatch, and then they're transferred back to Shelby. Now, is that a cost-saving measure? No, it's not. It's not a cost-saving measure at all for the city of Shelby because we still have to have dispatchers. And once we have our city jail up and running, just down the road, we have to have them on call 24 hours a day anyways because we have a jail. So they have to be on the premises 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So there's no cost savings to us on our dispatch. But if you call 911 in the city of Shelby, it takes 5 to 7 minutes for that to get transferred to the actual dispatch in Shelby for them to be able to respond to your call. Most of the time. About 90% of the time, according to the chief of police. We already have a police officer on call because they've received a direct call, and they're already responding to what that 911 call was before they even get it. Now, what happens if that doesn't happen? What happens if you call 911, because that's what we're taught from a young age, at least I was, and they don't get another party who calls them direct? 5 to 7 minutes before they even can respond. And we have an excellent response rate. I want to say that Chief Rob has done a magnificent job, and our police, our response rates are the best in the county. However, 5 to 7 minute lag time is unacceptable. But again, that's another thing where we're not completely self-reliant as a community. And the third area then obviously is common sense conservatism. And what I mean by that is just, when we look at budget issues, when we look at the money issues, and we look at the challenges facing the city of Shelby, just using common sense. Using the same common sense that we use around our dinner tables and around our household and our household budgets. It's as simple as that. And so those three big issues, those issues are important to me. Community, common sense, and then, of course, communication, which this is a part of this dynamic as well. All right. Couple other questions that I've gotten. Again, you can communicate with me on both Twitter at Nathan Martin, Facebook at facebook.com/NathanJMartin25. That's a Facebook page. And I respond to all those. You can also email me at nathanmartin4 shelby@gmail.com. And so if you have any questions for either this week or for next week that I can research, feel free to send those in. All right. The next question is on the light plant. This is a tricky situation, um, and it's kind of incomplete as far as kind of what we need to do with the light plant. Basically, it comes down to this: the EPA came down and said you can't be burning coal like you are without having substantial scrubbers and the like. Well, the problem with this um, has been and is that those scrubbers and everything are so expensive. It basically forces us to cease our coal burning operations. Obviously, that is not conducive to the overall the light plant being operational. All right, so there's that issue. Now, I personally believe that this is an EPA overreach. I don't think that the EPA has the authority to do this. From my understanding, it's through executive order. It wasn't passed in Congress or the legislature. And I think it's an overreach for them to tell us what we can do with our own power supply. So there's that dynamic. All right. I still haven't got solid issues on that, or solid answers on that from the powers that be. And I'll be meeting with them, and hopefully that will get fleshed out a little more. I asked what happens if we operate anyways. Now, we can operate right now. The restrictions don't take place until I believe it's 2014, the beginning of next year. We can operate right now, and we are actually burning during peak season anyways, so we can get lower electricity rates from AEP. When that stops, though, I asked what happens if we continue, and the answer was, well, the EPA will fine us. My question was, well, what happens if we don't pay that fine? What kind of strictures can they actually put on place? What kind of jurisdiction do they have over us? And that answer was largely incomplete. And so I'm trying to get that of what exactly does the EPA jurisdiction have to affect us? And so hopefully I'll be getting more answers on that. The other part of this dynamic is why are our electric rates high? They are higher compared to those who are outside of the city, First Energy, Firelands, etc. And why is that? There's a couple reasons for that. One, we own all of our own wiring here in Shelby, our own lines. So there's obviously the expense of that. But it's a reliability issue. It actually is more reliable source of energy. In fact, I'm told, the longest power outage we've ever had in the city of Shelby was 7 hours. Ontario can't say that. Lexington can't say that. None of the surrounding communities or the communities in Richland County can say that. So that's an excellent track record. In fact, one of the prime reasons that MTD decided to move their operations here to Shelby was because of our excellent rate. The other dynamic there and it looks like some of you have gone to an ad. At least I have. All right. Welcome back if you hit an ad. Sorry about that. It's a free service. So basically, what the sorry, it froze there for a second. Basically then the light plant controls its own lines. So there's that dynamic. The second dynamic is that we thought that we were going to be under a restriction is my understanding again, thought that we were going to be under a restriction for 20% of our energy having to be from renewable resources. So we went out and purchased these renewable contracts, and some of these contracts go into the year 2057. So they're long contracts. The problem is that none of us are happy with those contracts. They're horrible contracts. They don't. They're a big expense for the city. Unfortunately, they seem to be watertight contracts, and so I'm working through to try to see exactly what we can do to, as a city council, to help get ourselves out from under those contracts. So that's something I'll be getting more answers on in the future as it goes. So that adds to obviously the expense of the electric bill, those contracts. Now, if we were to turn on our light plant and be able to do that light plant, would our power actually be cheaper? Again, I'm getting mixed signals on that. Some people say yes, our electricity will be cheaper if we do that. Others are saying no, coal is actually expensive right now, and there's other abilities, whether it be diesel or natural gas, that will actually give us cheaper energy. So I'll be getting some more answers on that. Hopefully doing a blog post in the next few days on the energy needs of Shelby. Again, the goal has to be that we are self-reliant as a community. And I think that's a good goal to have. When you have businesses, as we know, the MTD, that value having energy resources here that are very reliable. And we are very reliable in our energy needs. I mean, you look at houses in Ontario and Lexington, go around there, and a lot of them have generators, and have to have generators because they hit an electric storm and their power goes out. So it's fortunately for us, we don't have that situation. We're not having to invest that in a generator. However, our monthly cost for electric is higher than outside the community. So there is that. So that's kind of covers generally the light plant and our electric prices. So those are the two primary concerns that I've ran into this week. Hopefully, as we continue these, we'll be able to address more concerns that we come across as we start meeting our constituents face to face. All right, to give a brief overview of what we've done so far in the campaign, I've started to meet with the different division chiefs at the city level to kind of get a gauge for what's going on at the city level, what we're doing, and what, honestly, I can do to help if elected city council. The first person I met with was Chief Rob. I talked about that. We have full strength in the police department now, and Chief Rob's done an excellent job. We're the most technologically advanced police department in all of Richland County, in large part because we do an excellent job of writing grants and doing grant writing to get the technological resources our officers need here in Shelby. Talking to a couple of police officers in town as well, it seems that they're very satisfied with their job and the experience that they have on the force here in Shelby, which is always a good thing. So that I was able to meet with him. I also met with Mayor Marilyn John. I met with her for a couple hours, going over the different divisions of the city and what she sees as the role of city council, and how I can help and what kind of fresh views and perspectives I can bring to city council as well. It was a very productive meeting, and Madam Mayor is doing a really good job at fulfilling her campaign pledges. And one of those, of course, was flooding. And that's one thing I asked her directly is what we're doing with flooding and to prevent another flood. Basically, as it was explained to me via her by John Guys, is that the elevation of the Black Fork goes down significantly until it hits Shelby. So essentially, Shelby's like at the end of a water slide, is what I'm told. And so what we're trying to do is have some options south of town to divert that water to prevent the splash at the bottom of the pool, so to speak, which happens to be downtown Shelby. This is important, obviously, for our economic ability to, going forward. And so that's one thing that she's been working on. And in fact, there's some meetings coming up that I'll be going to as well, to kind of flesh that out, what we're going to be doing in the future. But we've been doing a lot of the preliminary work necessary to affect real positive change when it comes to our flooding situation. So it was a really good meeting with her. And the next step, she also gave me a list of all the department heads at the city level, and I'll be meeting with them one-on-one, hopefully in the next coming week, and getting their perspective of what's going on in the city of Shelby, and then also what we can be doing at city council level to best further everything for us here in Shelby. So that is about it as far as what's gone on there. Obviously, been doing a lot of fundraising as well, and those I think a lot of family and friends have stopped answering the phone because they know I'm calling to ask for money. But again, we're trying to do some great things here at the city council level, and I appreciate all the people who are willing to invest, not just in me, but in the ideas that we're trying to push. Again, building a stronger community, building stronger communication with the people in the 4th Ward here in Shelby, and then also bringing some good common sense to the important issues, or the issues that are important to the citizens of Shelby. I think that those things are always a benefit and something that we need to do and address. All right, so I got some people viewing right now, and Heather is on and commenting, as I can see. And anybody have any questions that I can answer right now, that you would like answered right now? Give you a couple of minutes to go on to the social stream to the right and to enter your questions there. Anybody else? All right. Well, in that case, I encourage you guys all to keep connected with me and what's going on with the campaign, but also comes about of my different meetings as I share those. Again, you can connect with me on Twitter at Nathan Martin, and you can also connect with me on Facebook, facebook.com/Nathan J. Martin 25. Oh, we got a question. Here we are. All right. Do you know if there is any cost to add 911 direct communication? My understanding is that there is not. My understanding is just a switch in the telecommunications. That answer wasn't very clear, and so I'm trying to ascertain that exactly what are the costs of the city of Shelby. My understanding is that county decided to do this. More importantly, Mansfield decided to do this, and the county commissioners put together a commission to see if this was a cost savings for the county. And what they came back and said, oh, this is going to save us $500 and some thousand. Now, what they didn't do, though, is they didn't really ask. My understanding is that they had the commission with a goal in mind, and the commission reported exactly what they wanted to report. But the independent villages and towns and cities in Richland County who have their own dispatch services, and that would be right now Shelby, Ontario, Lexington, and Mansfield. Mansfield was consulted, and Mansfield's in there, and so the county dispatch is in Mansfield, so there were savings there, I suppose. But for the outlying 3 cities and I guess a village of Ontario, for Lexington, Ontario, and Shelby, there really aren't any cost savings there for us because, again, we're not giving up our dispatchers. Now, if we just went to a county dispatch and we didn't have to have a dispatcher on call, there might be some cost savings there for us. But right now, the cost savings isn't there. So is there an additional cost savings for us not to have that 911 direct communication? I'm not quite sure on that, and I need to ascertain that. I need to get that information. And so that's something that wasn't made abundantly clear. But that's definitely something worth looking at, I think. I think that we need that direct communication because it just makes sense. You know, I mean, in my household, what I've done on our fridge where, you know, we have 911 posted, you know, I put the direct line to the police department on there, honestly, because, all right, don't call 911, call the police department direct. And that's, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but that seemed to be the general direction of talking to Chief Rob. He said, hey, people that call us direct, we have fast response times. Again, I don't want to trust my family. I wouldn't trust my family for 5 to 7 minute lead time, especially if something serious was going on. And I won't. And so I'll be calling the police department direct until we get those direct communications. However, for those who are visiting, for those who are unaware in the city of Shelby, we have to look at this. We have to get it fixed. And the starting point is to having a fair, my understanding is having a fair commission say, hey, you guys want to have a countywide dispatch, that's fine, but here in the city of Shelby, we like to opt out of that. And that's something I think that we need to explore further. So I hope I answered your question, which is really I don't know, but I think it's definitely something worth exploring. 5 to 7 minute lead time is not acceptable. And another thing on that I just remembered, the 911 dispatchers, they have a list of everything they have to ask you while you're on the phone with them. Well, they then transfer you to the Shelby dispatch, and the Shelby dispatch goes through the exact same list. In my understanding, a lot of that information doesn't transfer. So, again, we just need to get a clear answer on that. And again, do what's best for our community. And part of that, building that self-reliance. All right. Are there any other questions? All right. Again, you can connect with me on Twitter at, put it in the live stream here, at twitter.com Nathan Martin. All right, sorry about that. I'm going to have to get used to this advertisement. Hopefully it shows all the same advertisement at the same time, so everybody's not missing stuff, but I'll have to figure that out. But anyways, again, Twitter.com/Nathan Martin, Facebook.com/Nathan J. Martin 25, and I have to wait for a couple seconds here to respond. It doesn't let me respond right away. And then my main website, nathanjmartin.com/campaign. I definitely look forward to holding more of these. Hopefully scheduled right now, do one once a week. Glad to have you guys on. Thank you for getting involved. And Heather says she's not seeing the advertisements at all. So, all right, I got to figure this all out. But all right. The awkward pauses when the advertisement's flashing across my screen. But I greatly appreciate everything. appreciate you guys being on. If you guys would like to get involved in the campaign, we'd love to have you. You can go to our website. Again, it's nathanjmartin.com/campaign. Just click on engage and just sign up to volunteer there. Love to have you guys. Again, love to have your input as well. I'm a firm believer that when we work together and when we sit down and we discuss the major issues facing our community, we can solve any problem that we come up against. So thank you very much, and look forward to seeing you guys again.